For decades, the Middle East has been a chessboard for global powers, a region of ancient histories and modern conflicts. But recently, a shadow war fought in the dark has erupted into the open. Drones and missiles streaking across the night sky signal a dangerous new chapter in the long-running feud between three key players: Iran, Israel, and the United States. How did we get here? And what does this escalation mean for the world? This is the story of a complex triangle of animosity, a conflict that stretches back decades and now threatens to pull the entire region into a wider war. To understand today's headlines, we have to rewind to 1979. Before then, believe it or not, Iran and Israel were quiet partners, but the Iranian Revolution changed everything. A new leadership came to power, viewing Israel as an illegitimate state and the United States as the great Satan. This ideological shift planted the seeds of a conflict that would grow for over 40 years. Iran began funding and arming groups across the region that shared its anti-Israel stance, creating what's known as the axis of resistance. This network of proxies allowed Iran to project its power and challenge Israel without engaging in direct, conventional warfare. Israel, a small nation in a hostile neighborhood, viewed this as an existential threat. Its strategy became one of containment and preemption. This meant carrying out a long and shadowy campaign of targeted strikes against Iranian assets and personnel, especially in Syria. The goal was simple: disrupt Iran's supply lines to its proxies like Hezbollah in Lebanon and prevent it from establishing a permanent military foothold on Israel's doorstep. This undeclared war involved intelligence operations, cyber attacks, and precision airstrikes, a constant, low-level conflict that rarely made international news but kept tensions simmering just below the boiling point. For years, both sides operated under a set of unwritten rules, carefully calculating their moves to avoid a full-scale confrontation. Enter the United States, Israel's most powerful ally. American policy in the region has been a balancing act. Washington has long sought to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons, seeing it as a major threat to global stability. This led to the landmark 2015 nuclear deal, an agreement designed to curb Iran's nuclear ambitions in exchange for lifting economic sanctions. However, the U.S. withdrawal from this deal in 2018 under a new administration marked a critical turning point. The subsequent maximum pressure campaign of heavy sanctions crippled Iran's economy and dramatically increased tensions. From Iran's perspective, this was economic warfare. From the U.S. perspective, it was a necessary measure to constrain a dangerous regime. This brings us to the recent explosion of violence. The trigger was an Israeli airstrike on an Iranian consulate in Damascus. Syria's significant escalation because a consulate is technically sovereign territory. Iran felt it had no choice but to retaliate directly to restore its deterrence, launching an unprecedented wave of hundreds of drones and missiles at Israel. While most were intercepted thanks to Israeli air defenses and help from the US and other allies, the symbolic line had been crossed. The shadow war was over. Direct state-on-state attacks were now on the table. Israel's subsequent, more limited response was a signal that it, too, could strike inside Iran. So, where do we stand now? The region holds its breath. This tit-for-tat exchange has shattered old norms and created a new, dangerously unpredictable reality. Every action now carries the risk of miscalculation and a much wider, more devastating war that could draw in global powers and disrupt the world economy. The core issues: Iran's nuclear program, its network of proxies, and Israel's security concerns remain unresolved. Diplomacy seems distant, and the path forward is shrouded in uncertainty. The long and complicated history of Iran, Israel, and the United States has reached its most perilous moment yet. The world is watching, hoping that these nations can step back from the brink. Thanks for watching, and if you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to follow for more deep dives into global affairs.